Hi everyone, thank you for joining for today's video. Today we're gonna go over firearms terminology. I thought that would be a fun way to cover the letter F. Let's go and get right into it. I'm gonna start doing my face with the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, and it's 5:25, so it's the evening time. I've worked out, have spent the rest of the, had a full day. So this primer is just going to help smooth out my skin and make sure foundation slides smoothly across. And we're gonna start with three terms: gun, handgun, and firearm. And especially for people who grew up speaking Spanish, like myself, because their parents or family spoke Spanish, but didn't learn it formally in school. For gun, you might be tempted to say pistola, but that's incorrect. Just generally, gun in a courtroom, it would be interpreted as arma de fuego. And handgun would be interpreted as pistola. Firearm, also arma de fuego. And the reason is, let's say a witness is just describing what they saw. The suspect was carrying a gun. But what if they were carrying a machine gun and you interpreted it as pistola? It would just convey a very different image. A small gun, I don't even know if I can do that in YouTube, versus arma de fuego, which is more general. So again, gun, general, arma de fuego, which is firearm, arma de fuego, and handgun, pistola. As I was speaking, I let the primer marinate on my face for a while. So now that that's kind of done its thing, I'm gonna apply some foundation. I'm going to mix this Catrice HD liquid coverage with the e.l.f. Halo Glow liquid filter, glow booster for radiant skin. They're totally different. This is mattifying, this is glowy. I'm gonna do more of this just for the glowiness and the texture, but this has a lot of coverage and I just want a few dots just so it'll go a long way if I mix with this. All right, moving on to more firearm terms. Rifle, rifle or fusil, rifle or fusil. And rifle, you might think, well, why would you even bother memorizing fusil? Because rifle, it's spelled the exact same way, it's just pronounced in Spanish. But what if you're somebody's speaking from Spanish into English and they use the word fusil? You have to know both, so you know what does that mean if they say it in Spanish? And you'll have to be able to say fusil, rifle. So don't forget I highly recommend making flashcards out of terms and then just going over them. All right, so I've got my little potion here and going to mix. And as I apply, shotgun. Shotgun is escopeta. Shotgun, escopeta. Now that I've put most of that all over the face, I'm going to get my wet sponge. Whatever was left over here, just dab it in and then pat everything in and blend, blend, blend. I also filmed a bit, but my memory ran out, so I'm refilming the vocab words, and then I'll just have to do something else to add to my makeup more than expected and later than expected just to finish the terms. But let's move on. Assault weapon, arma de tipo militar. Assault weapon, arma de tipo militar. I'm moving on to this putty blush. I did already apply this bronzer. I might add even more later. And I also applied this lipstick from ColourPop in the shade Gallop. I'm going to use my finger. Actually, no, I'm going to use a brush. I'm going to use this one, stipple it in there, and then repeat. All right, now that I have it really worked in there, let's move on. Automatic firearm, arma automática. Semi-automatic firearm, arma semiautomática. I'm going to sweep this all over my face, but concentrating here and here. With everything that I had wiped over here, gonna pick some of that up and apply again here, moving up. Concealed weapon, arma oculta. Loaded firearm, arma cargada. Unloaded firearm, arma descargada. Stolen firearm, arma de fuego robada. All right, and then I'm gonna bring the hair down just so we have a more complete idea of what the look's gonna end up looking like. All right, and sometimes the bangs just aren't gonna cooperate, but we're gonna make it work. All right, moving on to gun parts. The trigger of a gun, gatillo. And as we're moving on, I'm going to, just to add time, use this palette. It's the Blush Crush from ColourPop. Oh no, I don't know if you saw that, but oh no. One of the shades just completely fell out. Cleanup wasn't too bad, but managed to squash most of it in there. Where was I? The barrel of a gun, cañón. Barrel, cañón. Going to use this one and this one over here, all over the lid. The magazine or clip, cargador. So it makes sense that bottom part of the gun where they reload, in Spanish, cargador, that's what it's doing. And a bullet, if you've watched the movies or you might know this word, bullet, is bala. A cartridge, which is, I didn't know there was what the difference was between a bullet and a cartridge. And even now, I don't feel confident enough to explain, but cartridge, the interpretation is cartucho. So bullet, bala, cartridge, cartucho. With this one over here, I'm going to pick up this shade, just concentrate it at the outer V, and then shell casing, casquillo, casing, casquillo. And there's not really a congruent shape yet. I'm just depositing color, and it's more of just a dot right now. I'm gonna do the same thing over here, and I'm gonna start blending them out. The silencer or suppressor, silenciador, silencer, silenciador. All right, and then we're gonna move on to gun-related crimes. Possession of a firearm, posesión de un arma de fuego. With my finger, I'm gonna go into that shade that popped off. Just rub it in, and I'm going to apply it all over the lid. Illegal possession of a firearm, posesión ilícita de un arma de fuego. I have a super bright light right in front of me, so I don't know if you can really tell how shiny this shade is in comparison to this one. But in the mirror, it looks really nice. All right. Carrying a concealed weapon. Portación de un arma oculta. Carrying a concealed weapon. Portación de un arma oculta. And then with this center hot pink shade, I'm going to go in with this brush, brandishing a weapon, blandir un arma, brandishing, blandir, brandishing a weapon, blandir un arma. In the center, I'm going to do windshield wiper motions. Windshield wiper motions, and then connect it to the outer V, blend in a bit, see the difference between the two eyes with the pink now? Discharge of a firearm. In English, you're like discharge. What? It's shooting a weapon. So in Spanish, disparar un arma de fuego. Discharge of a firearm. Disparar un arma de fuego. And again, patting it in. Windshield wiper motions. Connect to the outer V up top, blend, blend, blend. And we get this nice shape. All right, I'm going to go to my collection and pull out a powder blush. I'll just take out a few and we'll see which one we like. All right, I'm going to use the Essence Pure Nude to kind of tie in these two together. I don't know if that's gonna work. Gun trafficking, tráfico de armas. Gun trafficking, tráfico de armas. I'm going to use this brush. Ballistics evidence. This one is a good reminder that the word evidence in Spanish is always plural. So immediately, pruebas. And ballistics, balísticas. So ballistics evidence, pruebas balísticas. I have just two more words for us, and just to make up the time, I don't want to put mascara on because it's late and I don't want to go through the effort of taking that off. So I'm just going to use this lip gloss to add some more. Gun violence, violencia armada. You could theoretically say a gun was arma de fuego, so you could say violencia de armas de fuego, but one that's long, and that's more of a literal translation from English to Spanish. But in Spanish, there is a term for gun violence, and that is violencia armada. So more likely than not, if you were coming across the term gun violence from Spanish to English, you would see violencia armada. So good to know, gun violence, violencia armada. Ooh, jutsi. And finally, gunshot wound, herida de bala. So a gunshot or a bullet was bala, a wound is herida. So a gunshot wound, herida de bala. Alrighty, we're just gonna go over all of our terms and I hope you enjoyed this. All right, if you want to test yourself, I'm gonna give a 1 to 2 second pause in between term to see if you can come up with it before I tell you the answer. Ready? Begin. Gun, arma de fuego. Handgun, pistola. Firearm, arma de fuego. Rifle, rifle or fusil. Shotgun, escopeta. Assault weapon, arma de tipo militar. Automatic firearm, arma automática. Semi-automatic firearm, arma semiautomática. Concealed weapon, arma oculta. Loaded firearm, arma cargada. Unloaded firearm, arma descargada. Trigger, gatillo. Barrel of a gun, cañón. Magazine clip, cargador. Bullet, bala. Cartridge, cartucho. Shell casing, casquillo. Silencer, silenciador. Possession of a firearm, posesión de un arma de fuego. Illegal possession of a firearm, posesión ilícita de un arma de fuego. Carrying a concealed weapon, portación de un arma oculta. Brandishing a weapon, blandir un arma. Discharge of a firearm, disparar un arma de fuego. Gun trafficking, tráfico de armas. Ballistics evidence, pruebas balísticas. Gun violence, violencia armada. Gunshot wound, herida de bala. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I hope you found this useful. Bye-bye.